Yeah, so this question still comes up a lot. Part of the confusion is around semantic differences. So there's a lot of different terms that people use for the 1P and the 3P experience on Amazon. So just to kind of set the stage there. So 3P synonymous with third party, synonymous with third party marketplace, also often referred to as Seller Central. That's the portal you go through, so it's just referred to as I'm selling via Seller Central, which makes sense. 1P, first party, also synonymous with retail and vendor central. So those terms get thrown around, used interchangeably. So just good to understand kind of all that terminology. To further complicate things, within the 3P side of the business, there's a very commonly used program called Fulfilled by Amazon, FBA. So sometimes people refer to selling 3P as just selling FBA, which inherently FBA is part of 3P, but you can do 3P without FBA. So, okay. So basically then the biggest kind of macro level difference is 3P is a marketplace, meaning as a brand owner, you are still the seller of that product. So you are basically selling direct to consumer through a marketplace. So you can use FBA for Amazon to handle shipping, forward and reverse logistics, and customer service, but you still own the product. You're still shipping it to the customer. You're making the sale when the customer buys it. You also still own the inventory, even if it's in an Amazon facility. So 1P is a traditional retail wholesale environment. So Amazon buys the product from you, whether they literally store it in a warehouse, whether they direct import it, or whether you do dropship and you actually maintain ownership of the product. As soon as it ships, then in the dropship scenario, Amazon owns it. As soon as you ship it to a facility, in the other scenarios, Amazon owns it. They're a retailer. They then own the inventory and sell it to their customer. So those are kind of the biggest structural differences in terms of the way this works. In terms of how it actually impacts selling on the platform one way or the other, there's a couple kind of big buckets where it's really going to make a difference. One is in pricing. So on the pricing side, on the 1P, i.e. retail side of the fence, Amazon has complete control over retail pricing. You don't own the product, they own the product. They are within their rights to price it however they wish. I think probably we'll do some follow-up on specifically pricing policies because that can get fairly complex. But basically, no, Amazon has control over the retail pricing on the 1P side. On the 3P side, because you as the brand owner are the seller, you have control over the retail. So you control your own retail. There are a few exceptions to that in terms of maximum retail and other things that are enforced, but generally as long as you have a fair price, even a list price, you can sell it for whatever you deem appropriate. The other kind of big bucket in terms of how things change is basically control, or in a flip side to that is the burden that's placed on you as the brand. On the 1P side, because it's a retail wholesale environment, it's more of a partnership in terms of things like inventory risk, planning, etc. You have to have both parties take some risk and essentially be aligned. On the 3P side, and this could be argued it's good or bad depending on the scenario, you have more control, but you also as the brand, more burden of the success or lack thereof is on you. So all of the inventory planning, shipping, fulfillment, customer service, for the most part, all falls back on you and it's yours to succeed or fail at. So those are kind of the big differences. A lot of the similarities come into play when you talk about content, advertising opportunities, different programs available. Those aren't all entirely the same, but just from a summary perspective, they're close enough to not be major consideration points. If you're considering, should I go 1P or 3P or even a hybrid approach, the buckets I just spoke about, those should be kind of the main factors.